I'm in the robotics club at my school, and we're going to compete in FTC Centerstage, where you gotta make a robot that can do 4 main things. Grab these plastic hexagons called pixels and place them on a backboard, hang on its own, be able to drive autonomously for a bit, and launch a paper airplane over these pipes and right outside of the stage. This little mini-series will go through my experience making that last part, going from idea to reality. My first thought was, what are the constraints? Well, it has to launch a paper airplane over this distance, first off. Launch strength has to be adjustable. The full build has to be as small as possible to fit inside of the robot. It needs to have some way to mount to my team's robot parts system at Tetrix, and firing has to be able to be controlled remotely. How's it going to do this? Materials-wise, I decided to mainly use rubber bands because they're easy to replace and to work with, and 3D printed parts as I have a 3D printer in my house, and design can be fully created using a CAD software. Design-wise, I started off by looking at a previous design I had made for launching a small rubber ball. I used this as inspiration because, it launches a thing, and I need it to launch a thing. So I hopped into Onshape, the CAD software I'm most familiar with, to start 3D modeling this thing. The main ideas I stole from my ball launcher were something to hold the thing, how it would slide, and how the rubber bands would stay in place. If some of you are wondering, the reason why I'm against using just raw rubber band themselves to launch the paper airplane is because I'm afraid that it'll just crush the plane if the mechanism doesn't work properly.
I've run into things to talk about, so enjoy the rest of this clip. Okay, well, this design didn't work for a multitude of reasons. First off, this thing doesn't actually launch a paper airplane. Second, the plane holder is way too heavy to be launched quickly and with a lot of force with rubber bands. Third, the space I made for the paper airplane in the holder is too small if the bottom of the plane is too thick with paper. I'll show you here. If I try to put it in here, it's kind of thick. It's really hard to move, I'm not gonna lie. Fourth, the way that the pieces need to be printed means that sliding takes up a lot of friction with the layer lines. I mean, hear this. That does not sound good at all. Fifth and finally, it's pretty big in comparison to the rest of the robot. Look at the size difference between this channel, which makes up the side of our robot, and the launcher. Overall, I think this is more of an idea that theoretically makes sense, but is absolutely horrible when applied in real life. Thanks for watching, and stick around for part 2 to see how I improve this.